Okay. So, what is a representation? I know we kind of know, but a representation is there are different types of representations, but one sort of general definition is it's a representation is just simply something that stands for something else, right? Um, so, a concept, a mental concept, is something that stands for a single entity or a group of entities. So, if I think of the word cat, right? That's the way in which that concept is represented. It's represented as a symbol, right? But I'm representing that concept with a symbol, right? And then there's the referent, which is the thing that I'm referring to, right? The thing that that symbol represents is called the referent, and that is not a symbol. That's a non-symbolic uh, thing, right? Because it actually exists. Um, and you can do this with something like concrete, like a cat, but you can also do this with um, abstract things, right? So justice. What is justice, right? Well, we have the symbol justice that we represent. That's the representation that we have of justice, but it stands for something, right? There is not really a referent here, I guess is the point. But you might have some kind of referent or another way of thinking about it. But the point is that in this example, sometimes there is an obvious referent and sometimes there's not. And also that these symbols, these representations, these concepts, they can be referred to things that are concrete or abstract. Talked about propositions is another way of representing something. So representation, or sorry, proposition is a statement that relates concepts, right? So not only can you represent a concept, but you can represent a proposition or a relation between concepts. And we've talked about this, but a proposition isn't really a sentence. It's a statement that can be true or false. So the book is red, the book's color is red, el libro es rojo. These express the same proposition, right? And complex sentences can express more than one proposition. So the big brown dog is hungry is represented as, I mean, that has multiple propositions nested in it. So dog one is big, dog one is brown, and dog one is hungry. Okay. We can also represent logical rules, right? So it's a rule that specifies a relation between propositions. So it's like an if statement, if you're familiar with programming, right? So if the light turns red, I will stop, or you should stop. If it is dark outside, it is night. If it is cold, I will wear a coat, or I should wear a coat. These would be logical rules that you would represent. Um, and I think, I was thinking about my dog. I think my dog represents logical relations, even because when we're not around, she'll eat whatever food is out. So if no one is around, I will eat whatever food is out. If I bark, I will get sprayed with water, right? These would be, even my dog, I think, probably represents logical relations, but maybe not. Anyways, we also represent analogies. So an analogy helps us make comparisons between two situations, right? So this is probably one of the things that I would imagine, makes us pretty unique as humans in the way we think, is that we can form analogies. Like, excuse me. I put this up here because the Cambridge Analytica case or scandal that happened in 2016, basically, people would give their information to like a game or something like that on social media, on Facebook. And then because they gave their name and they somehow Cambridge Analytica was able to get access to all of the friends of that person who gave their name, and was able to gather a bunch of information on a ton of people, even though only a small subset of people actually opted in to the game. And I thought, oh, that's very similar to what happened with 23andMe, right? So what happened at 23andMe is someone gave their DNA to 23andMe, and then 23andMe gave that information to the police. And because DNA, if your sister gives their DNA, then your DNA can kind of be determined based on that. There's a match, right? So this is how they found the Golden State Killer, a serial killer. It's because somebody with related DNA, somebody that was related to him, was able to gave their DNA to 23andMe, and then they were able to find that it kind of matched the Golden State Killer. Anyways, and we do analogies all the time, right? So it doesn't have to be like making comparisons between two situations in sort of this explicit way, but like finding a needle in a haystack, walking on eggshells, bite the bullet, beat a dead horse. This is blank on steroids. The grass is greener on the other side. Burning bridges, and adding fuel to the fire. These are all sort of analogical representations, right? Okay, so a little bit of terminology, right? So a representation, right? It has to have content associated with it, right? So if somebody thinks of a cat, it's about a cat, right? And somebody is representing the cat. So there's a bearer, a representational bearer. That's just the person who is representing the thing. And the thing that it's representing is called a referent, like it's what it refers to, right? And then this is called intentionality, which is a very weird word, I think, but it's just the link between the content and the referent. And you can simply think of it as the aboutness of, um, it's the aboutness, what the representation is about. And notice how in this example, right, this person is representing a cat with a picture of a cat, but it doesn't always have to be a picture. It could sometimes be sort of a symbol, right? So here, if this guy is thinking about $100 bill or money, he doesn't have to necessarily think about what money looks like. He can think about this like S with the dollar sign symbol, right? Okay. So in the next video, we'll stop here. In the next video, we'll talk about different kinds of representations and how they're all kind of related and how they're related.